I was watching Raya and the Last Dragon and noticed something strange. Wait for it. At the end credits of Raya, there are butterflies flying across the screen, and few months later, Encanto was released, bursting with magical butterflies. Then, at the end of Encanto, a green submarine appears, and exactly 1 year later, Strange World was released, featuring that same submarine. But that's not all. At the end credits of Strange World, a small star appears, and the following year, Wish was released. Now, here's where it gets crazy. At the end of Wish, the credits feature a reference to Moana 2, which was released after 1 year. But wait for the best part. In Moana 2 end credits, Disney teases Gary, the villain from the upcoming movie, Zootopia 2. No way. I was watching Despicable Me 4 and realized something disturbing. At the end of the movie, we see all the villains dancing inside the AVL prison. But wait, how is Vector even there? At the end of Despicable Me 1, he gets stranded on the moon. So how does he end up in a prison on Earth? Then Illumination released a short called Mooned. Vector spends the entire short trying to get back to Earth, until a minion destroys everything. And instead of making it home, Vector blasts off into space and crashes directly into the minion's spaceship, which sends him flying straight to Mars. Now go back to Despicable Me 4. Look closely at the scene behind Vector. There's a martial villain standing right next to him, the same one who helped him escape Mars and make it back to Earth. How did I miss this? I was rewatching Kung Fu Panda and had a wild realization. Tai Lung was always the true dragon warrior. Wait for it. We know Tai Lung was trained to become the dragon warrior, but the scroll revealed something simple. There's no secret ingredient. You just have to believe in yourself. And here's the crazy part. After all those years in prison, Tai Lung still believed he was meant to be the dragon warrior.
Fly back there and tell them the real dragon warrior is coming home.
But if Tai Lung was stronger than Po, then why didn't he become the dragon warrior? Look closely. The moment Po reveals the meaning of the scroll, Tai Lung stops believing in himself. And that's when he was defeated. What if Riley's mom has been hiding her identity this whole time? We know her as Jill Anderson. But what if that's not her real name? In Despicable Me 2, if you pause on Lucy's license plate, it says Minnesota, same state Riley's family moves from, in Inside Out. But then things got strange. Jill looks just like an older version of Margot, Gru's oldest daughter. And in Despicable Me 4, the girls are forced into hiding with brand new names and new identities. So what if Margot became Jill Anderson? But that's not all. There's a scene where Riley's mom daydreams about an old boyfriend with a charming Spanish accent. That's when it hit me. It's Carlos. From Despicable Me 2, Margot didn't just disappear. She grew up and became Riley's mom. I was watching the Minions and realized something disturbing. Minions have served the most dangerous villains in history. Dracula, Napoleon, every single one of them died. But somehow, the Minions always survive. That's when I started wondering, where did the minions actually come from? In the first movie, we see the minions start as tiny yellow blobs with eyes. Now look at the new Minions and Monsters trailer. The minions summon an ancient monster called Irene, a giant yellow body covered in eyes. She looks almost identical to the original minion blobs. So what if Irene was the original creature, and long ago she was shattered into hundreds of tiny pieces? Those pieces became the minions. That's why some minions have one eye, while others have two. The minions were never created. They were broken apart. What if I told you the real villain of The Lion King wasn't Scar? It was Zazu. We all know Scar kills Mufasa and tries to get rid of Simba. But after rewatching the movie, I noticed something shocking. When Simba and Nala sneak off to the elephant graveyard, nobody sees them leave. Yet Zazu finds them instantly and tells Mufasa exactly where they are. How could he know, unless he was already watching them? Later, in I Just Can't Wait to Be King, Zazu constantly says he doesn't want Simba to be king. Simba even threatens to fire him once he takes over. And the most suspicious part, during Scar's Gorge plan, Zazu gets knocked out right when he's supposed to get help. After the chaos, he never warns anyone that Scar orchestrated the attack. Why stay silent, unless he was working with Scar all along? What if I told you the real villain of the Super Mario Bros. Movie wasn't Bowser? It was someone inside Mario's team. When Mario trained, when Mario beat Donkey Kong, even on the Rainbow Road, the army was already waiting. Every single time, Bowser always knew their location, which means Mario had a traitor, and there's only one character who was there with Mario and Peach every single time: Toad. He acts like a loyal friend. When Bowser captured everyone, every hero ended up in a cage, except Toad, unless he was never a prisoner. Toad didn't join to help Mario. He was a spy for Bowser, and when he saw Bowser would lose, he gave Peach the ice flower. To save himself, he covered his tracks and walked away like a hero. The perfect spy doesn't get caught. They just switch sides at the right moment. I was watching The Lion King and realized something crazy. Wait for it. We all know Simba's parents are Mufasa and Sarabi, and by the end of the movie he falls in love with Nala, his childhood friend. But here's the weird part. We know Nala's mother is Serafina, but have you ever wondered who's her father? In a lion pride, a female can only mate with the dominant males. And in the Pride Lands, there were only two, Mufasa and Scar. That's when it hit me. Look closely at Nala's eyes. Bright green and gold. And guess what? In the whole Pride Lands, only one male lion has those green-gold eyes, Scar, which means Scar could actually be Nala's father. And if that's true, Simba didn't just defeat his evil uncle, he married his first cousin. I can't believe this. I was rewatching Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, and noticed something heartbreaking about Goldilocks. At first, her wish seemed simple. She wanted a real human family. But then I noticed something strange. In the cabin, when she finds her old fairy tale book, look closely. The first letters on the page spell, "You already have it." Then I remembered the map. It shows what people want deep down. And when Goldie grabs it, It leads her to nostalgic pines, an exact copy of the bear family's home. That's when it hit me. The map didn't lead her to a wish. It revealed a truth, hidden in her favorite childhood book. A quiet message planted from the start. Her wish wasn't granted, because she already had it. The bears. I was watching Toy Story 3 and realized something disturbing. The real villain of the entire Pixar universe is hiding inside Buzz Lightyear's battery compartment. Look closely at his batteries. They're made by a company called By and Large, a small company that started out selling frozen yogurt. But it gets darker. In Cars, they sponsor the raceways. In Up, they're the corporation bulldozing Carl's neighborhood. They bought out the stores, then the infrastructure, then the global economy. And by the time of Wall-E, By and Large doesn't just sell products anymore. They control the government, until their endless expansion turned Earth into a garbage-covered wasteland, forcing humanity to abandon Earth. Buzz wasn't powered by batteries. He was powered by the company that destroyed the planet. It took me many years to realize this terrifying secret in Toy Story. Wait for it. We know Jessie once had a former owner, Emily. She grew up and abandoned her. But here's where it gets weird. Emily wore a bright red cowgirl hat. Years later, Andy has the exact same red hat, with a faded ribbon mark. But how did Andy get Emily's hat? And that's not all. Emily had lemur posters on her wall, and roller skates under her bed. At Andy's yard sale, look closely. Those exact things are being sold. And here's the craziest part. We never see Emily's face, only her short, light auburn hair. And that's when it hit me. We've seen her before. Andy's mom is Emily. I can't believe I missed this disturbing detail hidden in Zootopia. Why do these giant polar bears respect a tiny mouse so much? Mr. Big is literally the size of their paw. So how did he even become their boss? When Mr. Big first came to Zootopia, he wasn't powerful. He was just a small mouse living with his grandmother, running a tiny bakery in a city where size decided everything. No one respected him, while others ignored the polar bears. Mr. Big did the opposite. He showed them kindness, even something as small as offering them ice cream. And that's where everything flipped, because when their bakery was attacked, those same bears showed up, not as enemies, but as protectors. In that moment, everything changed. Together, they built Little Rodentia, and that's how he became a mafia boss, not through fear, but through loyalty.